everyone, my name is Michael, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about aquatic invasive species that are found here in the state of Minnesota, especially in our area. We're going to start off with talking about the invasive aquatic plants in the area, some of the treatments that are available for those that the DNR is doing right now currently. Then we're going to talk about some of the aquatic invasive animals that are in the area and the things that they're doing to treat those as well. And then we're going to wrap things up with talking about basic law and things to do to prevent the spread of those animals and invasive species. So for aquatic invasive animals that we have in the state of Minnesota, according to the Minnesota DNR, published last year because 2017 model isn't available until later, we have several varieties of carp: grass carp, buffalo carp, Asian carp, bighead silver, the common carp. There's a lot of those. Then we have things like a couple of different types of gobies, the fish that come up and walk on land. They're really creepy. I've seen a couple of them. Then we have things like zebra mussels, which is a more recent development in the state. And in an article published by the Star Tribune, written by Tony Kennedy, How the Scourge of Zebra Mussels Spread Across Minnesota One Lake at a Time, zebra mussels represent a major threat to Minnesota's $5 billion fishing industry that we have every year that brings in tourism from across the nation. And then so far, roughly 275 lakes have been infested with zebra mussels, and roughly 20 to 30 lakes get added onto that list every single year that passes since the reduction of the species at this point. And some of the biggest factors with zebra mussel is they clean the waters, they filter out all the microorganisms and make it hard for the fish to eat, and lower the food chain so we get less and less fish every year that goes by. And then as these mussels die off, they create sharp shells that wash up on many of the beaches in the area and prevent you from swimming at the beach. Also, local home prices drop because of it, because who wants to live on a lake where you have beachfront property and you can't go swimming on it? Makes sense. And some of the things that they're doing to treat zebra mussels are rather still experimental. The most recent one being they want to, in the wintertime, when the ice is over, they want to inject underneath the ice CO2 that supposedly, according to the article, it stuns the zebra mussels' growth and sedates them, and then when the thaw comes in the springtime, they then treat the water with chemicals that then kill off the colonies. However, it's never been tested in a large body of water in a lake environment. It's only been done in closed, controlled environments so far, so they don't know if it's actually going to work. Some of the aquatic invasive plants that we have are things like Brazilian elomia, I think is how you say it, I'm not very good with Latin. Brittle naiad, curly leaf pondweed, Eurasian milfoil is a big one for the area that we're in right now, and starry stonewort being the most recent one added onto the list in 2015 in September. Starry stonewort is the most recent one, and currently there are only 2 lakes in the entire state that have it: Rice Lake and Coronas Lake in Stearns County. And in September of 2016, on the 22nd, the Minnesota DNR conducted a news release study of how they can treat starry stonewort and trying to eradicate it from our lakes here in Minnesota that we currently have. It's in such a small area right now that it's very controllable. And the way that they do that is they take floating barriers and they put the barriers up around the weeds and they pull them all into one location. Then they take a big, giant mud vacuum and they put it down on top of the weeds and they suck up all the weeds, and then they drop it all the way to the ground and they suck up the mud bed and the sediment below it to try and get all the root systems out and prevent future growth. They've had moderate success with it so far. However, long term they don't expect it to work very well for controlling, because it's not an effective treatment cost wise, and it's not able to cover a large enough area to control how large it is. And then to wrap things up, we're going to talk a little bit about the laws involved with Minnesota invasive species and things that the DNR and the state government have put in place to try and prevent the spread and help the eradication of the species from moving to future lakes. Specifically speaking, according to 2017 Minnesota State statutes, it's Chapter 84D, specifically the ones that apply to the general population, the general voters that use the zebra mussels filter around. So as that population booms, other populations decline, and then over a period of about 30 years, eventually the lake will go almost dead, and the zebra mussels